let's start our hour number 2 with our in-studio guest, one of my favorite human beings on the planet. Thrilled to be able to call him a friend. He is a broadcasting legend, but the way I must introduce him, since we're on Disney Plus, a man once famously traded for Oswald the Rabbit. Al Michaels. Good to see you, sir. Accurate, right?
So happy. The new digs look fantastic. What
Thank you.
the mic? Oh, the mic flag. Yeah, I have a different mic flag like every 20 minutes these days. Yeah, in fact, the traded for Oswald the Lucky Rabbit back in 2006, enabling me to go to NBC.
Yes, sir.
Part of a deal. There is a movie in progress right now, or process.
Yes.
Jon Favreau is directing it.
Wow.
It will come out in about a year, and I've got a little cameo in it.
You do?
I've already shot. Oh, yeah.
No kidding.
Me and Oswald. Oswald, of course, was the creation of Walt Disney. And they would not let Walt, when he left Universal, take the character with him. So he took the Lucky Rabbit and made him look like a mouse. Because Mickey Mouse and Oswald are probably out of the same womb.
Is that so?
Right.
Okay.
You'll see. The movie should be a lot of fun.
And that's coming soon to a theater near you.
Probably in a year or so, I think. Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable. I didn't even know, but I just figured I had to introduce you that way since we're on
Well,
Disney
when Jon
Plus right now.
Favreau is going to do a movie, you know, it's a big deal.
Very much so. I mean, all of his Marvel appearances are on Mandalorian. Yeah. I have to say that right here on Disney Plus. Great to see you, Al Michaels.
Likewise.
The Sunday night game, I mean, what did you think when you're watching a game like that last night?
I'm thinking it's the NFL once again proving it's the greatest unscripted television drama. And not only the game, you know, last night, but so many of the games yesterday. They went down to the end. Pittsburgh and the Jets and a 60-yard field goal. There were a number of games yesterday that were very high drama. But that is the NFL. And that is why I think the NFL is so popular, because you don't know what's going to happen. Very high drama. And then it's proven again. It's proven every week, 4 or 5 games every week. As you know, especially when you're on Sunday Ticket, as it was yesterday at the end of the 1 o'clock games, the 1 o'clock Eastern time games, you don't know where to look first. You got 4 or 5 games that are going right down to the end simultaneously. There's nothing like it in sports.
What's the? I know there's hundreds, thousands, but craziest game like that, 81 points, something like that. Big, huge comeback that you don't see coming. Whole country's watching. You're at the mic. Anything jump to mind for you?
Well, I go back to the 2000 game in the Meadowlands, the Miracle at the Meadowlands.
Oh, yeah.
When Miami led the Jets 31-7. Arnold Schwarzenegger came into the booth in the third quarter. I'm doing the game with Dennis Miller and Dan Fouts. And Arnold came in with Miami leading by at least 3 touchdowns. And he says, Wayne Corbett will terminate the Dolphins. And we're going, hey, don't you know what the score is? So Arnold leaves. And, of course, that's the night that the Jets mount this gigantic comeback. They tie it at 31. But Jay Fiedler then leads Miami down the field. They lead 38-31. And then we get to overtime because Vinny Testaverde goes back to pass, and his Jumbo Elliott from your alma mater,
that's right,
who'd been in the league for like 11 years at that point, on a tackle eligible for a touchdown to tie the game and go into overtime. That's, to me, Dennis Miller's greatest line ever, though. Because I call the play, and Testaverde back to pass. It's Jumbo Elliott for a touchdown. He's been in the league 11 years. It's his first touchdown. It's his first catch. Crowd's going wild. Dennis goes, well, you couldn't keep him down forever. So
I remember that. That was in between. That was the off day in the Subway World Series between the Yankees and the Mets.
Correct. Exactly
right.
That
was the Monday night between games 2 and 3 of the Yankees Mets in New York City. It was an amazing time for sports.
Miracle at the Meadowlands. So that would stand out as probably the most dramatic game I was a part of on Monday Night Football.
I knew there had to be one.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and then what else stands out to you from week 1 for you, Al? Like what else? I mean, Rodgers 4 touchdowns against the Jets that would stand there.
I think one thing that's gotten overlooked is Indianapolis that good, or is Miami that bad, or some combo platter here? That was shocking to me. Not that Indy necessarily won the game, but the way they did it. Maybe Daniel Jones is going to be the answer. Who knows? But if I'm the Dolphins right now, I'm wondering what the hell's going on here. And we've got them on Thursday night at Buffalo.
Right.
In 2 weeks. I think they play the Patriots this week. So I don't like what was going on. From what I saw yesterday, I mean, that's there's a lot of trouble going on with that team.
Tua throwing a bunch of interceptions.
Sure.
Tyreek Hill already emoting on the sidelines.
What else is new?
Right. And then, you're right. I mean, Daniel Jones has an opportunity, for the lack of a better analogy, to be the next Baker, Goff, right?
Sure.
But where it takes a while for things to click. Yet it couldn't work for the team that drafted him. And we'll see, with the Colts,
sure,
if that's real or not. I mean, Rodgers throwing 4 touchdown passes going back to MetLife, speaking of, being in New Jersey. And he kind of spiked the football in his very understated way, that he was happy to beat anybody associated with the Jets.
Of course.
And
a great storyline for every game. I mean, no matter what the game was yesterday, you could look at it and go, okay, here's an interesting story about that particular game. Every game.
Right.
Name it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously, what's another good one? The Thursday night, obviously, season opener, seeing the Cowboys and the Eagles. The Cowboys, I think, acquitted themselves quite well in a game that I thought everybody they were going to get stomped in, in that contest.
Yeah, and this Thursday night, we start our prime schedule at Lambeau. Washington at Green Bay. All of a sudden, I shouldn't say all of a sudden. We knew that was going to be a pretty good way to open up, but you look at those teams. I mean, if I'm a Green Bay fan right now, I'm not sure I'm making Super Bowl reservations, but I'm thinking about it.
For sure.
They look great.
Yeah, let's talk about that game a little bit right here. Al Michaels getting set to call another season of Thursday Night Football on Prime Video, hanging with us the Monday before the Prime Video opener in Lambeau Field between the Packers and the Commanders. And I mean, if I had told you a month ago that Micah Parsons would be wearing, Green Bay colors, you probably thought I was out to lunch, but it's actually happened.
It happened, and it's interesting too, because would he play at all yesterday? Was he getting an epidural? All of the stories that surrounded that game before the game, and then I think he wound up playing about half the snaps, something like 29 out of 62.
29, that's exactly
I think
right.
What I read, and he was very impactful. And then put the coat on it, of course, by chasing Goff and sacking him from behind. But there's no. They look so good. They look so good on both sides of the ball. They just dominated that game.
Well, the conversation that we were having on NFL Network, that Mariucci, in a very un-Mariucci-like way, he began to bristle and he sat up in his chair. Is again the analogy of the statistical analogy that we're hearing about Micah and Reggie White. That they're the only pass rushers who started their career with 4 seasons of 12 or more sacks, going from the NFC East to Green Bay. And Mooch is less like, hold on a second, hold the phone here about him being Reggie White. And I'm wondering if you have a similar
everybody's
stance here. Al.
Everybody loves to make comparisons, and in Micah's case, I mean, he is already a star. There's no question about it. But when it comes to anointing somebody, I always tell the Bill Parcells story. I did the Hall of Fame game years and years ago. I think Jeremy Shockey had a tremendous night, and he had not played a single game. Jeremy's a rookie, comes out of college, has a phenomenal night in Canton. No, he's going to be Mark Bavaro. He's going to be Kellen Winslow. He's going to be Mike Ditka. He's going to be the greatest tight end in history.
Yes. And,
of course, a lot of the post-game press conference dealt with that. And only the way the great bard and soothsayer Bill Parcells could put it, he says, boys, just put away the anointing oil, okay? It's real simple. So, I mean, to me, we're anointing everybody. Now, in Micah's case, I mean, he's already anointed because of what he's done to this point. But we love to make comparisons. Look, the game is different than it was. There's no question in Reggie's time. And I like it. I like to look at comparisons like this as enjoy them both.
Right.
It's everything is in a different era. And why can't we, it's like saying, what's the better meal? Well, sometimes you can have 2 fantastic desserts, right? Enjoy them both. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at comparisons.
And just in case anyone's wondering, I've been fortunate enough to have a meal with multiple desserts. In fact, maybe the last one you and I had
Right.
So you mean what you say. But, obviously he's not Reggie White. It's just a sense. The only comparison you can make is when Reggie showed up in Green Bay. It gave everybody a boost. It gave everyone a sense of, okay, now we can really win this thing right here. And I think you're seeing, I don't know, obviously it's just one game, but you just get a sense. It was like a role reversal with Green Bay and the Lions on Sunday, where Green Bay feels like they have the Super Bowl shot and the Lions have question marks about them for their chances. That's the way I feel.
Right. And also,
that.
Jordan Love looked really good yesterday, and this bevy of receivers, and Christian Watson still hasn't played yet. I think he's on PUP. So they've got, and Jacobs didn't have the greatest day rushing until, in the fourth quarter. Their line was great, their offensive line. So, I mean, that's a real team. But, going back to Reggie, what Reggie did is not only made that team better, he changed that whole culture. Because when Reggie got sent to Green Bay or signed with Green Bay, everybody said, no, Green Bay is the last place you want to go. We're sending you to Siberia. And when Reggie signed, all of a sudden, it became different. So different. He changed the whole culture up there.
Yeah, and then Favre obviously became Favre,
Right.
and then that led to Rodgers, and now it's led to Love, and the conversation again is second season that Bart Starr won a title at age 27, same year, that same age of Favre, Rodgers, and now Jordan Love, when Favre and Rodgers won their championships.
What were you doing at 27?
I was 1 year into my ESPN tenure.
Wow.
What were you when you were 27?
I was doing the World Series on NBC.
Yeah, you were.
As the voice of the Cincinnati Reds.
Come on now.
Oh, yeah. When we were 27, it was a very good year.
Calling the World Series at age 27.
Well, in those years, if you were the team announcer and your team won the pennant, and I'm with the Big Red Machine, Bench, Rose, Morgan, Sparky Anderson, Tony Perez, when we won the playoffs, beat Pittsburgh in a dramatic ninth-inning comeback in the deciding game, I got to do the World Series with Kurt Gowdy and Tony Kubek on NBC. And I think I've told you the story. Not that I was nervous when we came on the air, but this is when the World Series was, drawing 35 million viewers. And we come on Saturday afternoon at Riverfront Stadium, and there's a single shot of Kurt. Now they're going to pull out to include me. And the only thought I had in my brain, I was trying to get rid of it, was, please, God, please, when I open my mouth, let air come out. And it did. And we were off and running. And
yada, yada, yada. Here we are getting ready for another season of football for you, certainly on Amazon Prime. I guess a way to turn this now, talking about beyond years and arriving early and dealing with nerves successfully. Jayden Daniels appears to have mastered that craft. Just 1 year in. Yesterday, it wasn't a points-a-palooza. It wasn't just throwing it all over. But he and Deebo Samuel had a connection in game one that's got to feel good for the Washington Commanders with the running game looking more stout, with everyone wondering what it would look like.
Right.
So I'm sure you took that in preparation for Thursday night.
A rotational running back situation with, Eckler and the seventh-round kid they drafted. Also having a good day yesterday. You got Samuel, McLaurin, of course, holding in, holding out, whatever you want to call it. And then he's there. We got Ertz as the tight end. Line is good. I have the greatest respect for Dan Quinn as a coach. Cliff Kingsbury is there running the offense. Yeah, I mean, much is expected of Washington, and I'm feeling the same way. Sometimes there's a regression to the mean. Don't forget, they'd only won, I think, 4 or 5 games in Ron Rivera's last year. Then they win 8 more games the following year, and then everybody thinks, you're going to take the next step. But oftentimes, you regress. But in this particular case, I think they look really good, and it's a big one in Lambeau. They go into Lambeau, they win that one, and here they go.
Yeah, because you got to start thinking, and I know it's early in the season, you got to start thinking of tie breaks down the road, where you can take a card out of your back pocket and say, we're not getting on a plane, you are. I mean, that's something that might come home to roost with say what we saw in Brazil with the Chargers and the Chiefs.
Sure.
Say what we saw on Sunday night between the Bills and the Ravens. This could be something, obviously for the Commanders and the Packers down the road based on what we saw in week 1. Just got to throw that out there.
Well, you can take a card out of your back pocket of your Gene Steratore and try to measure for a first down.
Ladies and gentlemen, Al Michaels.
By the way, I did that game too.
You did?
Yeah, that game was in Oakland, and I thought the irony of, Gene pulled the card out to see if it fit between the marker and the ball. And I'm thinking, this is how we're measuring a first down, and right across the bay is Silicon Valley, where everything gets invented. What are we talking about?
Well, now, I mean, because I didn't see it Sunday night. I didn't see it Thursday night. We didn't have it on Friday night. We'll see what happens tonight on Monday night with the Joe Buck, Troy Aikman broadcast. You might have the first virtual measurement on Thursday of a standalone national televised game. I haven't seen that yet. We haven't.
No, they had it during the preseason. We had one in the preseason.
Right.
It was taking forever. They're trying to figure out how this thing works.
Well, apparently they've buttoned it up. At least they're assuring me of that sort of thing.
They tell us.
That's very good. Nobody asks me about my hotel accommodations more than you, Al Michaels. You're constantly asking, and I'll tell the story. I tell every. Have I ever told you the first time I ever met you? We didn't talk.
Was it at a Four Seasons?
It was at the Breakers Hotel.
Okay, right.
It was the first NFL network.
Palm Beach.
I can't believe I'm about to tell you this story.
Mm-hmm.
It was in Palm Beach, and I was doing NFL Network, NFL Total Access. You and I had never met before. I'd never seen you in person. And I'm coming back to the lobby because NFL Total Access was set up in the parking lot for first ever owners meeting. You remember that, Mike? You were setting it up probably, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you're coming out, getting ready to go to the airport. And there's a courtesy car waiting for you. And Howard Katz, who you've known forever and a day, longtime executive in our profession, knows you and says to you, "Hey Al, what'd you think of the Breakers?" Which is a beautiful spot.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's a very nice spot.
Beautiful.
It's been around a while though.
Yeah, a little long in the tooth.
It's long in the tooth. And you looked at him and you said about 2.5 seasons. Got in the car and drove off. And I thought, that's the coolest thing I think I've ever witnessed. So you asking me all the time about my hotel accommodations is on brand.
Well,
which you just did in the break.
In Sao Paulo, were you at a double tree or a single tree? Where were you? Not the Holiday Inn Express, Holiday Inn Local?
It wasn't a lush forest, but it wasn't like a seedling. No, it wasn't like a sapling. It wasn't just freshly planted. You
didn't come away with Zika, so you're good, right?
I caught that in Costa Rica. So.
I'm good. We're good.
Good.
The accommodations were fine.
You don't need a mask, or do I need a mask sitting with you? We're good. Okay.
So you're going to Green Bay.
Yep.
Okay. So how many games have you done in Lambeau? Do you know the number?
Probably in the 40s.
Has to be, right?
Yeah. Wow. Well, it's my 40th year of doing the NFL in prime time. So early on, we didn't do very many games there. And then, of course, when Brett came along.
Changed it,
Yeah,
right?
we were there, at least a couple of times a year. We've done a number of playoff games there as well. Yeah, it's probably in the 40s. Mm-hmm.
And the famous He Did What game is there, right?
That was there. That was there in the year 2000.
Freeman.
Correct. Yep. Same year as the Miracle at the Meadowlands, right. That's when awesome. There was only one person in that building who knew that catch was made.
That's you.
The receiver.
Oh, the receiver.
I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you did at some point in time, right? I mean,
right, but even Brett Favre had no idea, right?
Is that right?
No, because I talked to Brett, subsequent to that. Nobody
He had no idea.
Nobody.
Only Freeman knew.
Freeman went down, and then he got up, and everybody stopped. I mean, the defense stopped as well. It's like he didn't make that catch. Yes, he did. He did what?
He did what?
Yeah.
That's one of it's one of the great things about you is you're just human. Your reaction is human when you he did what?
Yeah.
It's a very simple phrase. You're not going to sit there and go, "Oh, I saw it the whole time." Like he did what?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Al Michaels is here, back on the Rich Eisen Show radio network. Progressive Insurance presenting ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. Right here, Al Michaels is with us. One last thing to talk about Jayden Daniels, and then we can move on a little bit here.
Okay.
I did not see this soundbite until this morning from Brian Burns of the New York Football Giants, who was chasing him around all day and actually did get him a couple times. He had this to say about Jayden Daniels being a talker on the field, which I did not know. But I love this soundbite because it sounds like he's talking about Jayden Daniels being a trash talker, and then you find out it's like a story by the end what and who Jayden Daniels is. Roll it.
Didn't learn anything new about Jayden Daniels today, did you, that you didn't know?
He talk a lot. Cool dude, but he talk a lot. I don't want to talk to you.
Thanks, Bart.
It's like shooting at Nah, he just be talking like this. Hey, buddy, I don't want to talk to you. I'll talk to you after the game, bro. I'll talk to you after the game. Man.
Smart young man.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. That's he's trying to get in my head, make me feel like we're friends now.
That's right.
Yeah. He's the whole package. He really is.
Just like, hey, how you doing? He's like, no, I don't want to be your friend.
No, it's perfect.
He's beyond his years, it seems like,
It does, for sure, yeah. And you can tell, I mean, he's got what it takes him, at least when you watch him and you look at him, he looks confident, he looks poised, he looks in control. You can tell he has the respect of the people around him. So, I mean, he had a tremendous rookie season, off to a great start in year two. And obviously, look, they expect gigantic things from him. Again, you have to go back, and you go back to 15 years ago in Washington, the belle of the ball, the guy who was going to take them to multiple Super Bowls over 15 years. RG3. Remember that?
Well, he blew out his knee in the playoffs, unfortunately, and that changed the entire dynamic of everything there.
It did, and it was never the same.
Well, and let's be honest, if we're telling stories, I mean, I think Dan Quinn wanted the quarterback that got drafted. The word was Mike Shanahan was not, and that's why they drafted Kirk Cousins later on in the same draft.
Exactly.
Which you rarely see until the Cleveland Browns kind of did it this year.
Right.
I mean, but you rarely see multiple quarterbacks taken in the same draft. That's a different story, different day, and I think that's why Commanders fans are out of their skulls. Is those days are past. Yeah. Those days are over. New owner, new coach, new GM, new quarterback, new way of going up, new name, new everything.
After a tough quarter century.
Yeah. As brutal as you can possibly
under the Snyder
get.
regime.
Right.
Totally different.
So that's on Thursday night. Let's stroll down later on. You got Miami hosting Buffalo. Then you got Seattle at Arizona. Mm-hmm. Congratulations for that home date. San Francisco at the Rams. Now that one's kind of jumping out at me right now.
I get per diem for that.
You can,
right?
Is that why it's jumping out at you?
Oh, absolutely. I love. Oh, of course, that's one of my favorite games.
And then you got Philadelphia at the Giants. You got to wonder at this point in time, Week 6, is Jaxson Dart going to be the starter?
Well,
there? It's fair enough to talk about. But
you got Barkley coming back to New York, where he
always
torched them last year, and of course went on to win the rushing title and the Super Bowl. Interesting, but I don't know. We had Jaxson Dart in the preseason game that we did a couple of Thursdays ago.
Did you get to chat with him pre-broadcast?
We did.
What'd you get? What'd you take from him?
Sharp guy, sharp kid. He gets it. Very smart kid. And he went to USC at first, and then when Lincoln Riley came in and brought Caleb Williams with him, that's why Dart wound up going to Mississippi. He knew that he wasn't going to be the guy with the change of coach and quarterback. So that's how he winds up going to Oxford, to Mississippi. I liked him a lot. Very sharp, very clear-headed, very well-spoken. And I said to, and of course the town just fell in love with him. He is their belle of the ball right now. And I said to Kirk on the air, I said, when you've made it in New York, I said, if Anna Wintour calls and tries to get his phone number and invites Dart to the Met Gala, he's the guy.
Is that what happened?
No, not yet.
Not that you're as well versed on the Met Gala invite list, but
right, or Vogue or anything else
sure.
like that. What can I tell you?
Right. So you got a sense from him that he gets it. He's sharp.
Oh yeah.
Any sense from Dayball that you can share about any plans to get an insight
all
here?
Brian basically said was, Russell Wilson is my opening day starter. We're going with Russell Wilson. No, he doesn't want to put Wilson in a position where he's going, hey, either play well or I'm bringing the new guy. You can't do that as a coach. Now, what he's thinking, on the inside is different, but he's not going to say it on the outside.
I think he's going to have to take a temperature of the locker room. You know what I mean? Like, again, we always read in to sideline conversations.
Body language.
Right, and body language. But as my crack coordinating producer, Mike Hoskins, just got in my ear and said, Daboll, during this conversation, said it's Russ in Dallas. He's getting the start.
Oh, yeah.
So it's definitely Russ's gig for week 2 against Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, the offensive line was terrible yesterday for the Giants. I mean, Russ had no time. No time to set up, throw, the whole thing. So, and Malik Neighbors.
That's where I was going with the sideline conversation.
He didn't play at all during preseason, so they weren't necessarily on the same page. But that's a risky move for a coach to make in week 2. It is. You've gone one way in training camp. Now, what am I going to do?
Well, because
and then how do you ever bring? Do you bring Russ back if Dart doesn't make it? A lot of things get factored into this.
Well, I'll tell you what, the sledding gets only tougher. You look at the Giants' schedule after this week's game, as we mentioned, against the Dallas Cowboys. Then they're on Monday Night Football with their home opener against the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's where you throw Jaxson Dart out there.
Probably not.
And then you got the Giants after that, home for the Chargers, who look terrific in Brazil. They looked absolutely terrific.
No, they've got a killer schedule. Killer.
Right. So then they're at New Orleans before your game on Prime Video. I don't know if you're going to make a move.
Yep.
You're certainly not going to do it within a short week.
I wouldn't think so.
So something's got to, for him to get and be somebody you're calling his game.
Yep.
Something's going to have to happen over the next 3 weeks against some very difficult opponents.
No question. No question. But again, that offensive line's got to play better. And they're minus Thomas, the left tackle. He's still out. That hurts.
Right. So Al Michaels is here on the Rich Eisen Show, 844-204-RICH, number to dial with our phone conversations throughout the rest of the program. Then you've got, let me just check out the rest of the schedule. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. That's a massive game. That's in week 7.
Right.
And then another per diem game, Minnesota at the Chargers. That'll be J.J. McCarthy taking on his old coach.
Yes.
All of us Michigan Wolverines will be definitely tuned into that. Mm-hmm. And then Baltimore at Miami in week 9. What's, I guess, your philosophy about a bad week 1 loss, how long it lasts? I mean, when it all comes down to it, there's still 16 more games to go, or does it linger in your estimation?
Well, I mean, Miami's loss yesterday was really bad. Right. Really, you're going to Indianapolis and just get your head handed to you. It's not like going into Kansas City or something. We'll see. But the great thing about the NFL is, a team can look so terrible one week and so great the next week. So I don't put anything past anybody right now.
I once upon a time heard Marv, who is my
Marv Albert.
Yeah, I mean he's the guy that he's part of the reason why I do what I do for a living. Growing up in New York City, he would always say whenever there was a blowout in an NBA playoff game, it's a series. It just means nothing. That's 2 days later. Here you go. It absolutely means nothing. Just throw it out. Right. And I'm just wondering if that's what a week 1 bad loss can be in the NFL.
You hope it is. If you're the team that suffered the bad loss.
Right. When did you ever do anything specifically with Marv back in the day?
No, we did boxing in like 2015 and 16.
That's the first time you did anything with Marv?
Marv and I we've known each other, but he was always at NBC and I was at ABC, and then he went over to Turner, and I go to NBC at that point. But Marv would come out here quite often for dinner. We'd have dinner, Linda and I, with Heather and Marv. So we shared a lot. We were both Brooklyn kids. Right. We loved hockey, among other things.
So Vin Scully was your guy, collectively.
No question.
That's it.
For baseball.
So Marv's my guy, and Vin was yours?
And Kurt Gowdy, the two of them, yes.
So you calling with Kurt Gowdy must have been unbelievable for you.
Incredible. It was
no kidding.
And Kurt was really kind of a mentor for me for many years.
What would he tell you? What did you learn from Kurt Gowdy?
Kurt, when I was a kid at Arizona State, I took a tape machine. The Red Sox, he was doing the Red Sox, and they were training in Scottsdale. Yeah. And I called him up out of the blue. And I said, hey, Mr. Gowdy, can I come over and have you listen to my tape? Sure. And he and I sat there for a half an hour, and that's the way it began. Then we're doing the World Series together in 1972 and the Winter Olympics in Sapporo, Japan. It was the all-time dream come true for me.
And when you were at Arizona State, were you calling Reggie Jackson games?
Yes, I was. Yeah, I went to school. Sal Bando was my classmate, and then Rick Monday came along the following year, and then Reggie came the following year.
Was Reggie at Arizona State? It was obvious, or no?
A little different.
What do you mean?
I mean, well, no, Reggie also played football. Reggie was the starting cornerback as a sophomore for Frank Cush. So he played both sports. But of the three, I thought that Monday was the most talented player.
Rick Monday.
Rick, yeah. And Rick had a great career, too. And then, and Bando. So Bando and I meet in a registration line as freshmen at 17 years old with two kids in a registration line talking about our dreams. 10 years later, when I'm doing the World Series, who are we playing?
The A's.
The A's. Who do I run into in the clubhouse when the A's come to town to work out the day before? Sal. We looked at each other and went, what? Where are we?
Right. And Reggie was on that team, too.
Well, Reggie had pulled his hamstring by stealing home in the playoffs against Detroit, and Rick had already been traded to Chicago. Crazy stuff, man.
Al Michaels, before I let you go, I would be remiss if I did not ask you about Ken Dryden, who just recently passed away. And Ken was your broadcasting partner for the Olympics in Lake Placid, New York. He was sitting next to you when you started talking about believing in miracles.
Yep.
So I give you the floor on the passing of Ken Dryden.
That was a dagger. I had no idea that was coming, and that hit me like a sledgehammer the other day. Ken was so if anybody wants to read about Ken on NHL.com, I think the writer's name is Dave Stubbs, wrote a piece the other day that's just summed Ken up perfectly. Ken was so many things. Don't forget, Ken had a tremendous Hall of Fame career, but he only played like 8 seasons for the Montreal Canadiens.
That's it?
8. He won 5 Vezina trophies, best goalie in the league, 6 Stanley Cups. Retired at 32 because he had a million other things he wanted to do. Among the he was in Parliament. He wrote books. In 1984, when this is 4 years after Lake Placid, he'd already retired. We'd already done the Olympics in '80. I was over in London with my family covering something for Wide World of Sports. We went to visit Ken. He was studying at Cambridge. He went to McGill University. The day after the U.S. had beaten West Germany on a Wednesday in Lake Placid, with the Soviet game to come 48 hours later, Ken got picked up in a car and driven to Ottawa, a 3-hour drive, to take the bar exam the day before the Soviet game. Took the bar exam, clearly passed. I think he was probably number one in the class. Wow. Got taken. He passed the bar exam in the middle of the Olympics. Ken, he was in Parliament. Ken probably could have been the Prime Minister of Canada, but he got disillusioned with the way the government was being run at that time. So very similar to what we're hearing about a lot of situations in a lot of countries right now. Ken was as thoughtful as anybody I've ever met, and I'll tell you, Rich, we always throw around the phrase Renaissance man too much. I mean, if somebody reads 3 books, he's a Renaissance man. Come on. Ken Dryden was a Renaissance man. Knew a lot about everything, but everything was he was very mild-mannered. And don't forget, he was 6'4", and he wore glasses. And when I was with him, it was like being with a professor. I'm with a professor who needs a pipe, slippers, and a dog at his feet. And this was probably the greatest goalie in the history of the National Hockey League. You miss people when they're gone. I really gonna miss him.
Well, my condolences on that. And is there a story once you took the headsets off after the U.S. beat the Soviets, and it's just the two of you in that booth? I mean, is there the first person you spoke to right as soon as you drop that line and you take the headsets off? There's Ken Dryden.
Well, we didn't quite take the headsets off because I think Jim Lampley went to interview Herb Brooks afterwards. Now, you have to understand, as the crowd is filing out, there's another crowd filing in because Sweden is going to meet Finland in the other, what amounts to semifinal game in the medal round. So in those years, it's not like it is right now. We were going to play the U.S.-Soviet game, which we did on delay at 8 o'clock Eastern.
That's right.
But Roone Arledge was so afraid that if there was a malfunction with the tape machine, where were we going to go? The only other event that night was Sweden-Finland. So Ken and I were made to stay there and announce the Sweden-Finland game into a tape machine. And that's how we spent the next 2.5 hours.
Right after that game.
Correct.
You're not going back to the hotel to just download?
Not yet.
And
no.
but that game was seen by nobody?
By nobody.
Was it ever seen by anybody?
Yeah, if you were in Stockholm, maybe. Or Helsinki, I'm sure you got a big audience back there.
But I guess before that, did you have a moment with Ken Dryden going, that was the most incredible thing I think I've ever seen or talked about? Or any,
yeah, I think we knew it. Well, yeah, it took, and then later on, I mean, through the years.
Of course.
Some of the most wonderful conversations I've had. You know, Kenny and I would talk maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
Look at that picture that's up there.
Right there. Yeah, look at that. How about that? How about that wardrobe, huh?
Tell me you got the sweater somewhere still, dude.
You know, I think that sweater is somewhere around.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
But Ken was, when I first met him in Moscow, because we went over to scout the teams before the Olympics in late '79. And I'm sitting with him the first night we meet. We're having dinner. And he talked to me about the difference between international hockey, which he had played, in addition to the National Hockey League brand, 85 feet wide, NHL versus 100 feet wide, international. And Ken went through about a 5 or 6 minute dissertation, beautifully orated, explained everything about it. And then Ken looked at me and he said, now, do you think this is something that the American audience would be interested in? I said, Ken, yes. But let me introduce you to the world of broadcasting. Can you get that down to 8 seconds? He was, and by the way, he had never done analysis or broadcasting before. He was phenomenal during Lake Placid.
Renaissance man.
Renaissance man. True.
You're the man, Al. Well, we're so blessed that you give us so much time, and you're always the best. Well, I can't wait to listen to you at the microphone for yet another football season. 40th year, huh? Calling the NFL games?
40th, yeah.
40th year. Unbelievable. You are.
I'll hear you from all over the world, right? Coming down the line?
Yep, absolutely. And I'll tell you what tree it is or how many seasons it is. I'm always there for you. I'm always there for you. Never buy an ice machine, though. That's all.
No, never. You remember that one, don't you? Yeah. Stay away from that elevator.
Al Michaels, everybody. Check him and Kirk Herbstreit and the rest of the Amazon Prime Video crew for another terrific season of football starting this Thursday on Prime Video with the Commanders and the Green Bay Packers. Safe journey on air, Al, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.